Welcome crafters! I have two fall DIYs for you today. In today's crafting adventure, I'm going to show you how to make these two beautiful deco mesh fall wreaths. Both of these wreaths are made on the 8-inch wreath form. Now the finished wreath is anywhere from 13 to 15 inches in diameter. Let me show you how to make them. For this project, you're going to need an 8-inch wire wreath form that you can pick up at Dollar Tree, some pipe cleaners cut in half, and some Dollar Tree deco mesh. This comes out of the fall section. This is kind of their sage green. I have my mesh unwrapped and ready to go. I have my pipe cleaners cut in half. We're going to be doing the poof method today. And I have 4 rolls of Dollar Tree deco mesh. I'm going to be working with 2 rolls at a time. And with that amount, I have enough to put about 15 poofs in each section. And the section is between the 2 crossbars. Now this wreath has 3 sections, and these sections are a little bit larger than what you would find on their 14-inch wreath form. And when I attach them, I'm going to be attaching it to the 2 bars here on the outside, the center bar and the outer bar. Now to get this started, you want to take the end of 2 rolls, you scrunch them together, and you really want to put these side by side. You don't want to layer your mesh. If you do that, when you go back to separate those poofs, it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to get them to separate if you layer the mesh. So attach a pipe cleaner, make sure that's nice and secure. We're going to attach it right here at a crossbar. I don't want my end to slide around as I work. Give a twist or two. Take those deco mesh ends, pull them to the back, and then I always pull them back through my pipe cleaners here. Pull my pipe cleaners together and give another twist or two. I don't want my ends to pull through while I'm working on my wreath. Now you can trim your deco mesh. You need to leave about 1 inch. And then if your pipe cleaner seems too long, you can trim it a little bit. And then you want to tuck that forward. Okay. Now today we're going to be measuring our poofs at 8 inches, and you want to start to measure here where you have attached it to your wreath form. Once you hit 8 inches, pinch and add a pipe cleaner. I always like to pull it down. I can get a nice tight grip that way. And then you take those 2 pipe cleaners and you wrap it from the front to the back around the center bar and the outer bar. Pull your pipe cleaners together nice and snug and give a twist or two. Then I like to pull my pipe cleaners together and I push them forward. This keeps the back of my wreath looking nice and clean, keeps any sharp edges away from the door. And once you get the front filled in, you're not going to see those pipe cleaners. So again, measure it 8 inches. Add a pipe cleaner. And then sometimes what I like to do to kind of get things to go a little bit faster is I will measure out 5 or 6 poofs and attach my pipe cleaners and then go back and attach it to the wreath form. This just makes the process of doing the base a little bit more less tedious because you're mixing up a little bit more. Because you are doing the same repetition over and over again on your wreath base. Then once you have a few on, just start attaching them. And you need to do a minimum of 10, but you can do up to 15 poofs per section. And you just keep sliding your poofs over. Once you have a section done, you're going to want to go back and open up your poofs, and that just means go in and separate the two rolls. Every time you measure, you're actually creating two poofs instead of one, and you want to take full advantage of that. So just go in and separate the two. You don't have to open them up, just pull them apart and go to the next loop and do the same thing. Let's see how pretty that looks. I'm going to work on getting my base done, and then I'll be back and we can decorate. I have my base done on my wreath and I love it. It's so nice and thick and full. Now at this time, if you have anything sticking out, any little bits of fraying from the mesh, this is when you need to trim it up. Here on the back, you can see that I kept my back nice and clean by tucking all of my pipe cleaners. Now I was able to get about 13 or 14 poofs per section. Absolutely beautiful, nice, thick, full base. And even though this is an 8-inch wreath form, it'll give you a good 14 to 15-inch finished wreath base. To go on our wreath today, I'm going to be using this really cute little Hello Fall metal sign that I just picked up last week at Dollar Tree. And I like the way they have this set up. They have holes in here that they have the jute cord. I'm going to remove that. That's what I'm going to use to attach it. And then if you don't like the raffia bow, there's also another 2 holes and a tie there. So you can easily remove that and put whatever bow you'd like. So I've added some floral wire here where I removed the jute cord, and I like to use the silver because this pretty much disappears on most colors. So today I want to place my Hello Fall over to one side and down just a little bit. So right about there. And to get that attached, I'm going to use my floral wire. Separate your mesh, feed the floral wire down till you get to the wire frame in the back, and then you attach it here to the wire frame. Now you can attach it wherever you need to on the wire frame to get your sign to sit the way that you want. I have my sign attached. It's nice and sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. And I pulled out these really pretty little off-white pumpkins. I'm going to be adding these, and I got these from 3 stems of the floral bouquets. So you can see I pulled it off right there. So I have 3 of these, so I was able to pull off 3 pumpkins. I'm also going to use some of the little grain there. I think that's cool, and I might even use the pine cone, but we'll see. But I'm going to start by getting these attached, and I just want to kind of place them and angle them around the base here. And now I'm going to add some of these. I think they look like little wheat berries. And I have 4 little pieces. And I want to add my greenery kind of right in this section. I always like to play with my placement a little bit before I get them down. Once you find your placement, then go ahead and hot glue them in. Now I have a few little pieces of some maple leaves here in the light color, and I have a couple that have some berries. I'm going to add these as well. And now I'm going to add some of these really pretty fall sunflowers. They're nice and tiny. I have all of my florals in and I'm really happy with the result. Now I did take this and hang it up on my door and look at it. I did a little readjusting with my sign. I lifted it up just a little bit. I wanted to get a better view of my pumpkins. And now I'm happy with it. I did add a few more bits of florals. Now the next thing I want to do is add a little bow at the top. I picked this ribbon up at Dollar Tree. It comes in their fall section. It's 2.5 inches at 3 yards. You'll want to cut 2 pieces at 16 inches and 1 piece at 13 inches. You'll also need a full-length pipe cleaner. Okay, your 13-inch piece, that's going to be your tails. You want to take the 2 16-inch pieces. You want to pull them together so they form a circle and that your ends cover themselves by about 1 inch. And then press down to find the center. You want to do that to both pieces. Now my cut side is facing up. That's my back. So then you take your final piece, which is your tails, and you add that. Just do your best to get it in the center. Then you want to go ahead and scrunch in the center. Take your pipe cleaner, wrap that around, pull it to the back. Get it nice and snug and give a good twist. Then pull your tails down and open up your loops. And that's approximately what your bow should look like. I have my bow attached and I think that is the perfect final addition for this beautiful small fall wreath. I absolutely love the color tones. They go so well with this Hello Fall metal sign that I found at Dollar Tree. Such a beautiful way to welcome fall into your home. You will need an 8-inch wreath form, some pipe cleaners cut in half, and some Dollar Tree deco mesh. You should only need 1 roll. You can pick whatever 3 colors you would like to use. You want to cut your mesh into strips at 12 inches. I have all my mesh open and stacked. That just makes quick work of cutting. Now I prefer to use a rotary cutter, but if you don't have one, you can always use a good pair of scissors. You just need to use something that's very sharp so you get a really clean cut. I did pick up this rotary cutter from Dollar Tree and I absolutely love it. I buy them about once every 6 months or so. They last me that long, 6 to 8 months, and then the blade starts getting dull, so I toss it, buy a new one. So that's cheaper than buying replacement blades for my Fiskars, which is what I used to use before Dollar Tree came out with these. As you can see, they cut very well, and I've already been using this for several months. So once you have all of your mesh cut into strips at 12 inches, we're going to be doing the folded ruffle method today. Now I designed this method back in May of 2020 to be used specifically with Dollar Tree mesh because it does fray. You'll get very little to no fraying with this method. So you want to fold your ends over themselves by about an inch so you form a little tube. Then you press down, hold both ends, scrunch from the bottom to the middle, and then scrunch from the top to the middle. You want to hold that right in the center. And then you want to wrap your pipe cleaner around the bottom and up. You want those ends up on the top. So all of your cut ends are here on the top. You want that to be your bottom. So I like to pull down so I can get a nice tight grip and twist. And then you open up your folded ruffle, and it looks like that. I think they look like a little butterfly. This looks so pretty when you use striped mesh. Okay, I will show you one more time. So you take your piece of mesh that's cut at 12 inches, fold the ends over themselves by about an inch, push down, start at one end, scrunch to the center, start at the other end and scrunch to the center. Take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around underneath so that they are up on top. Fold down so you can get a nice tight grip, pinch and twist. And then when you open it up, it looks like a little butterfly. So I'm getting my bundles attached to my wreath form, and that is one section that I have completed. And I wanted to show you how to attach these. You take your pipe cleaners and you feed them on either side of the two bars. Now I'm alternating between attaching it to the inner bar and the outer bar, and then the center bar and the inner bar. And the reason why I'm doing that is I don't want my wreath to look striped all the way around with the three colors. So by moving one a little bit more on the outer, a little bit more on the inner, it mixes them up a little bit better. So you don't get just stripes all the way around. They kind of shift in color, which is what I wanted. I want it to look a little bit more mixed. So you can see I attach a bundle here on the inside and then a bundle here on the outside, and I just keep going back and forth. Now each roll of mesh should give you 15 cuts, so you should be able to put 15 bundles in each section. If you run a little short, which does happen sometimes with Dollar Tree mesh, it's okay if you only get maybe 13 bundles in each section. That's plenty. As you can see, that is one section, and that is nice and full. By the time I'm done, this wreath will be nice, big, thick, and beautiful. I have my base complete. Look at how pretty all those fall colors look together. Very, very nice. Now here on the back you can see that I alternated my bundles between the two bars on the outside and the two bars on the inside. I also here at one of the crossbars added half a pipe cleaner and made a loop. This is what I'm going to use to hang my project. So when you're adding everything to the front, just make sure that you know where the top is. Now once you get your base finished, because this is Dollar Tree mesh, you're going to want to go through and clean it up. If you see anything sticking out, just trim it off. Once you get your bundles made and you get them placed, you're not going to get a lot of fraying with this method. But while you're working with it, you may end up getting a little bit of the ends coming apart, or sometimes on Dollar Tree mesh they don't seal the sides really well and you may get a little bit there. That's okay. Just trim anything that looks funny off. You're not going to need to worry about it after that. But if you're not really familiar with working with Dollar Tree mesh and you would like to know more, I have a great video, and that is called How to Work with Dollar Tree Deco Mesh. That will explain all the different kinds of mesh Dollar Tree carries and how to use them, and the best methods for using Dollar Tree mesh. I will link that video for you at the end. So I'm really happy with my base there. Now we're going to add this cute little tin sign. Now I just recently found these in the fall section at Dollar Tree. They did have 3 different versions. I really liked this one. I like that black print that says Happy Harvest, but of course you can use whichever signs you can find in your store. And this time I want to place it pretty much in the center, maybe down just a little bit, because I do want to place a bow up here at the top. And then I have a few other small elements I want to add. I like that. I think that's really pretty, and that'll give me just a little bit of extra space at the top for my bow. Now on my sign here, I've already removed the jute cord and I've added some floral wire, and I like to use the silver floral wire because it pretty much disappears once you get your sign on. So once you find your placement, you just take those floral wires, you feed it through the deco mesh until you get to the wire frame in the back, and you attach it to the wire frame. I have my sign attached. It's nice and sturdy. It's not going to go anywhere. And I think that looks so striking on that beautiful, colorful background. Now I made just a basic bow. I just had one strip of this ribbon left and I wanted to use it on here because I think the colors go together wonderfully. And I want to place this right at the top, and then I'm going to kind of spread the tails out side to side. And then to attach it, I'm going to do the same thing that I did here with the sign. I'm going to take those pipe cleaners, feed it through, and attach it to the wire frame in the back. I have the bow on. Look at how pretty that is. And that ribbon came from Dollar Tree. Very, very pretty. This is new this year. Now, there's a few final elements I want to add. I'm going to add a few pine cones here. And I pulled these off of some stems. I ordered a whole case of these for the cotton, the wheat, and the pine cones, and I'm still working on them. So that's where I got my little pine cones. And then I also pulled out some of the acorns that you can also get at Dollar Tree. Everything that I'm using on this wreath today came from Dollar Tree. Now, if you're going to put this wreath outside, when you attach your elements, you want to use a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and hot glue. The hot glue will hold it in place until Aleene's is able to set up. Once Aleen sets up, your wreath will be weather resistant as far as those items falling off. Now, I tried this last Christmas. I used on a green wreath, I glued all kinds of ornaments on it. I put it out front. It got rain, sleet, we had hail, hot sun, cold weather. Nothing fell off my wreath. This stuff works great. For today, because I'm going to be using these in my house, I'm just going to be using hot glue. But like I said, if you want to put your wreath outside, you want to use a combination of Aleene's Original Tacky Glue and hot glue. Now I want to take, actually I decided to go with one of the large ones. I'm going to use one of these large acorns. I want to put it right in the middle of my bow here. Kind of hide my pipe cleaner there. And if you notice right here on the ribbon, they do have some pine cones and some sunflowers and pumpkins. You could always add some of those elements as well. Now to attach your pine cones, if your pine cones don't have a stem, that's okay. You can just put the hot glue and Aleene's on the very bottom. You just want to make sure that when you're attaching these that you nestle them into the deco mesh so that they get good contact. That way you won't have any issues of those falling off. Same thing when you're gluing on your acorns. Make sure that they get good contact to the mesh. And here you go. We are complete. Oh, I absolutely love it. I think the acorns and the pine cones were the perfect final addition for this beautiful harvest fall wreath. They did a great job with the new ribbon from Dollar Tree. I love it. It's so beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. These size wreaths are perfect to hang on interior doors, to hang on your cabinets, even to put on mirrors. They look absolutely beautiful. If you know anyone who has limited space, maybe they're in a senior living facility or live in an apartment, a small wreath like this is a perfect gift. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed today's 2 fall wreath tutorials. I really do enjoy working on the 8-inch wreath form. I think it makes a perfect size wreath. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It's always a pleasure to see you. If you enjoy craft tutorials and hauls, you're going to want to check out these other videos. You have a great day. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next video.